Whatever you do not buy the iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max. Well, not until you've seen the rest of this video. Throughout this video, I'm going to walk you through Apple's September 12th keynote event, explain and compare the new products Apple's released, including the Apple Watch Series 9, Apple Watch Ultra 2, and the whole range of iPhone 15 models, and along with that I will help you make a decision on which iPhone 15 you should buy if you're in the market for one. Now that the iPhone 15s have been revealed at the 12th September keynote event, it's a great time to start thinking about upgrading if your phone is slowing down, or maybe you're just ready for a change. In the September 12th keynote, Apple kicked it off with a heartwarming cinematic video explaining the many cases of the Apple Watch helping to find an irregularity in a user's data to help both users and doctors discover potentially life-threatening medical conditions. Now, on one hand, this is a wholesome positive advertisement that would encourage so many people that already have an iPhone to go out of their way and purchase an Apple Watch for the sake of their own health. On the other, it's a pretty devious marketing move throwing shade at the many other health and fitness tech companies, as Apple is basically saying, buy an Apple Watch, because if you don't, you're more likely to die. To be fair though, you really have to hand it to Apple, because it's a very smart and tactical move on their behalf to move the Apple Watch in this direction, focusing more on the health side rather than fitness, as there are so many more people in the world concerned about their general health rather than their fitness levels, and this marketing strategy will help them attract so many more customers outside of the fitness audience. Apple then moved on showcasing their latest and greatest model of the Apple Watch, the Series 9. Taking the first look at the device, aesthetically it's the exact same as its predecessors, the 7 and the 8. Even though the hardware has changed the same, Apple has increased the max brightness to 2000 nits rather than the 1000 nits seen on the previous models, and this 2000 nits is also variable, so it can go all the way down to a single nit in really dark situations. Now, believe it or not, even though the shell is the same, the hardware upgrade is a greater increase from last year's model than the upgrade from the Series 7 to the Series 8. The Apple Watch Series 9 has a new S9 chip with 5.6 billion transistors, which is 60% more than its predecessor, the Series 8. This allows for smooth animations and an 18-hour battery life. Its neural engine is twice as powerful as the last, allowing for Siri to be stored on device rather than processing the requests in the cloud. This allows for minimal wait time when you ask Siri a question or tell it to perform a task, as it doesn't require any Wi-Fi or cellular connection. With this more powerful neural engine, you can also access your important health data with Siri, such as sleep, heart rate and maneuvering information. Along with this, dictation is also 25% more accurate thanks to the neural engine too. Double tap is also a feature that they talked about a fair amount of time, even though this isn't generally a new feature as it was under a different name under the accessibility category in the settings. This is a feature that when you tap your index finger twice on whichever hand you are in your device, you can answer and end calls, stop alarms and timers, customize smart stacks and many more. Just like on iOS 17, name drop is on the Apple Watch now, so if you bring two Apple Watches close together, your chosen information will appear on the other user's device. The Apple Watch Series 9 also has an all-new second generation ultra-wideband chip which introduces better precision finding on any Find My compatible devices. This is also much more helpful when trying to find your many Apple accessories and even other users' phones, as this has a significantly increased range of precision finding. The Apple Watch Series 9 includes a lot, and I mean a lot, of environmentally friendly changes which I will include in its own section of this video. Moving forward with the event, they also talked about the newest version of the Apple Watch Ultra, the Ultra 2, which is again the exact same aesthetic as its predecessor. With this newest generation of the Apple Watch Ultra, like the Apple Watch Series 9, there is a marginal increase in the brightness of the display to 3000 nits. Yeah, you heard that right. 3000 nits. This is an exciting feature that not even many smartphones have, if any. The fact that this is on a smartwatch is insane. Apart from that, there are other slight changes, but not really much. The other changes are the new S9 SIP as talked about on the Series 9, and a new modular watch face that includes the most information ever seen on a smartwatch face. It also includes the same battery life as seen as its predecessor at 36 hours of typical use and 72 hours in the low power mode, all for the same price of $799. A decently long portion of the keynote was Apple explaining their visions of carbon neutrality and reducing their carbon footprint. They even had a 5-minute skit where Tim Cook, along with certain employees, were talking to Mother Nature about these visions of having a non-existent carbon footprint on the planet by the end of the decade. Better yet, they are expected to eliminate all plastic from their products' packaging by the end of next year. Both the Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 are the first fully carbon neutral products from Apple, with plenty of accessories for these devices being carbon neutral too. The iPhone's also not going to be using leather anymore, and they're going to be replacing it with this new fine woven material. Now, not to throw shade at Apple, I honestly don't like this fine woven material. It looks a bit cheap in comparison to the leather. They could have at least used fake leather or tried to replicate leather as best as they could, but yeah, they tried. Apple also has several other changes to contribute to the journey to carbon neutrality. They already have 100% clean electricity in all Apple offices, around 300 of their Apple certified supplies are also carbon neutral, and this is all achieved by using 100% clean and renewable energy. Now don't get me wrong, this is a very good thing for a company of this caliber to do, but I don't want any Apple customers thinking that they are wholly doing this for the benefit of the world and the environment. Reducing packaging size and replacing the plastic with recycled material will definitely be in their own interests of saving money rather than saving the planet. Well, nonetheless, whatever their intentions are, this is still a positive thing for them and for the planet, so really it's a win-win situation for everyone. Now we're gonna get into the juicy products of this keynote, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. Starting off big, all the models of the iPhone 15 now have Dynamic Island, and this is good news all around for anyone craving to get one of the new iPhones, as they don't have to stretch their pockets to get the iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max to gain the benefit of the Dynamic Island. The Dynamic Island is even more useful now as it can track different events such as flight journeys, tracking food deliveries and keeping track of big sports events. Now the Dynamic Island won't have as smooth motion as it would on the Pro models, because on the vanilla models they don't have the Pro Motion 120Hz. These models are unfortunately stuck with the 60Hz panels. Talking about the panels though, the panels are now as good visually as the panels on the Pro models, as these vanilla iPhone 15s now include an OLED Super Retina XDR display with peak HDR brightness at 1600 nits and peak overall brightness at 2000 nits. The now aerospace grade aluminium shell has a contoured edge which increases comfortability when holding the iPhone. I don't know how much this would matter due to the fact that not a lot of people rock their iPhones without a case, but it's a good change nonetheless. Getting bigger, the biggest increase of the hardware of the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus is the upgrade in cameras. The 12 megapixel standard is now a piece of history, as the main lens for this phone is now a 48 megapixel lens, which is the same as its predecessor, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Portrait mode has also been upgraded so that you don't need to switch this mode every time you want to use it. Even if you capture an image of a person or an animal in a normal mode, the AI will recognize the subject in the image captured, so you can edit the image later on and toggle the portrait mode on, as well as adjusting the amount of blur in the image that you want. Smart HDR has also gotten better in the front camera, with brighter highlights, richer midtones and true to life skin tones. With phone calling, the audio quality is also drastically improved with better machine learning that prioritizes the voice of the individual using the phone in busy and loud areas. It's basically like built-in active noise cancelling. And of course, the iPhone's charging port has now been upgraded to USB-C, which is unfortunately limited to USB 2.0 charging speeds, and these phones also include MagSafe as usual, although the iPhones now support Qi 2 wireless charging speeds. Now on to the biggest products of this video, the iPhone 15 Pros. The main marketing that they are using for this phone and the promotional footage they used to reveal the phone to us, they are praising the iPhone 15's all new titanium shell with a brush contoured edge and new natural titanium colors. There's a strength increase along with the weight decrease, and they also state that these are the lightest Pro models ever made, along with the thinnest bezels ever seen on an iPhone. It's made out of grade 5 titanium alloy, which is a higher tensile strength compared to the normal titanium material, with a higher strength to weight ratio and better thermal dissipation. The dimensions of the new Pro models have a decreased ever so slightly, as they're slightly thinner and smaller, helping making these devices more comfortable to hold in the hand. The first big change that they have made is the removal of the ringer switch, which has now been on the iPhone since the introduction of the iPhone. Replacing it now, as talked about in the leaks for the past few months, is an action button as seen on the Apple Watch Ultra. You can set this to a range of different actions. The default is the ringer switch, which of course makes the most sense, but you can also program it to record a voice memo, open the camera, execute an accessibility feature or a shortcut action, and it's going to increase the functionality of your phone and the efficiency when using it. Talking about efficiency, Apple unveiled a new generation of their mobile processors, the A17 Pro chip. This includes a brand new, more powerful integrated GPU with Apple designed shader architecture, with improved performance efficiency when it comes to complex applications and rendering. And I believe this is the first on an iPhone because it supports hardware accelerated ray tracing. All of this is thanks to the completely new chip design, as the A17 Pro chip is the world's first 3nm chip with its 9 billion transistors at 12 silicon atoms in width. With the help of this new chip, the iPhone will be the greatest phone for gaming and has the ability to change the whole mobile gaming industry, as these phones have now more improved smoothness and better graphic performance. So much so that you can play AAA games on this device such as Resident Evil Village, the remake of Resident Evil 4, and the brand new unreleased Assassin's Creed Mirage. These games are meant to be played on consoles or high-spec PCs, and the fact that you can play these games on a mobile device is honestly going to change gaming forever. As seen on the base iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus, the iPhone 15 Pros now have a USB-C port, although instead of limiting this port to 2.0 speeds, Apple has ensured the port has USB 3.0 speeds with the support of 10 gigabits. With this new port, you can shoot photos instantly on a Mac when connected via USB-C and record ProRes straight to an external SSD. Mentioning recording and taking pictures, these cameras also have a substantial upgrade in comparison to its predecessors. The standard Pro keeps a 3x telephoto lens, however the Pro Max model introduces the iPhone to an all-new 5x, which is a 120mm equivalent optical lens, with a 20% larger sensor. The iPhone 15 Pro starts at $999 for the 128GB model, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max starts at $100 more than the 14 Pro Max did, and of course this is justifiable as the base rate of storage is also higher. Now there are more bits and bobs of the Pro models that I haven't mentioned, but I think I have covered most of the major points. Now we have talked and explored all the products revealed in this September 12th keynote, specifically the iPhone models. We are now going to be discussing what iPhone is right for you and which one you should buy. I'm going to split this section into 3 different user categories. First one is standard consumers. This category is for the people who use their phone for regular daily tasks like scrolling through your Instagram, Twitter or TikTok feed, consuming media such as Netflix, YouTube or other entertainment platforms, and just needs a device with a good camera, display and longevity, whilst also feeling like a decent enough upgrade. For this range of customers, I highly recommend purchasing one of the vanilla 15 models. And if you want a bigger screen or better battery life, I would strongly suggest the 15 Plus more of the 15, solely due to the fact that the battery life is around 1000 mAh more than the base model, and it has the better battery life out of all the iPhone models. Not to mention that the base models now have that beautiful looking 48 megapixel lens, which is more than capable for daily use. And to seal the deal, the dynamic island is just a big game changer for anyone using an old iPhone with a notch. The second user category is short form content creators. These are the users that record and upload their video content on devices platforms such as YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, whatever floats your boat. You need a good enough camera with a beautiful screen and decently fast CPU. I would again recommend the vanilla iPhone 15 or 15 Plus just because of the overhaul cameras with 48 megapixel main camera, 4K 30 cinematic video, 4K 60 HDR video and action mode, all paired with the iPhone 14 Pro's A16 Bionic chip. This phone is an all-around bang for your buck and is without the doubt the best value for this price. And the final user category is tech enthusiast or full-form content creators. Now I'm not sure you need my advice for this if you are included in one of these categories, but I'm going to speak my mind anyway. Without much thought or explanation, these are undoubtedly the only users that should go for either the 15 Pro or Pro Max because of its extra 3x or 5x dedicated zoom lens depending on which model you get, 120Hz Pro Motion, the thinnest bezels ever seen on a smartphone and an action button, USB 3.0 speeds and an all new A17 Pro chip and the titanium alloy frame. Even these changes don't seem significant or seem like a significant jump from the comparison to the iPhone 15 models, but if you're a tech enthusiast or full-time content creator, these small changes are going to be giving you serious FOMO if you are aware of what you could have had if you chose the vanilla iPhone 15s. Regardless of whether you're going to listen to me or not, I hope you enjoyed this informative video. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and believe it or not, this is the hardest I've ever worked on a single video in the past 300 videos I have on this channel. Hope to see you soon. It says type your script here, that just means that the script's over. I was gonna say type your script here like it was like that was in the script. Oh god. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye bye.